All right, we could just take a minute
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
just get ourselves maybe you sit back and make sure okay, okay, comfortable. Just a minute, name a minutia. Let's take a deep breath in. Hold for 2 counts and exhale for 6. In for 4. Hold for 2 and exhale for 6. One more time. In for 4. Hold for 2 and exhale for 6. We're just sitting in this amazing space in nature, surrounded by all the 5 elements, knowing that we are also made up of the 5 elements, and so being in this space is an opportunity for us to connect inside out, outside in, maybe not even any distinction, but just harmony in and out, in and out. So just allow ourselves to be relaxed, our body relaxed, our spirit relaxed, our mind relaxed. So we can dive into the intricacies of Aryuveda and the 5 elements of nature. All right. It's too beautiful of a view. Like, you don't understand. It's just
so good.
and the trees back there. Because I had to choose. I was like, do I want to sit there because I can see? But I was like,
Yeah.
that right there.
Yeah, as a facilitator, like to
Super
be able to ground
magical.
yourself.
I figure they'll pick wherever they want, but I was like, this
Yeah.
is really nice. Can I? Do you know anything about Ayurveda?
So I was trained at the Amrit Yoga Institute.
Yes.
So they do a lot of Ayurvedic training too there.
Okay.
So I've dabbled in it.
Okay.
Every time I try to figure out my stuff, like I feel like my answers are so, I don't know, everything's really close.
Yes.
So I really, yeah. I need
Yeah.
help understanding, I guess.
Yeah, because I don't want to go over something that you already know, and then
Yeah.
that way we can go into it more. So you're familiar with the
The
doshas,
doshas,
then?
yeah.
Okay. So the way
I
that
have to be reminded. So like, there's Pitta, Vita,
Yep, Vata,
and
Pitta, and Kapha.
Kapha.
Okay, so we'll go into it. I want to make sure, so then I kind of go over that. That way we can go deeper.
Right.
One of the things when I look at Ayurveda is that there's a few aspects to it. Because Ayurveda is known as the science of life. Sometimes it's translated as kind of the knowledge of longevity, of living a healthy life. And they're saying longevity because you would just live a longer life,
Right.
or a more balanced life.
Balance.
Yeah. And but I also have to think of the many various aspects of ourselves that need to be balanced.
Yes.
And it's not always in the physical. So I usually want to start by wondering, when I ask you who you are, what would you say?
I would say I'm an incredibly emotionally driven human.
Okay. All right.
Passion, like lots of passion.
Yes.
I'm a Scorpio, so like Scorpio. I'm a Scorpio with a Pisces moon, so I'm very watery.
Yes.
And yeah, so I'm quick to tears. I'm like quick to express my passions. You know.
That's good. At least you're not holding it in.
No, I will cry in
There's
front
like
of
a
God.
whole.
God
That
and
is a
everybody.
whole other spectrum
Everybody
of issues.
has seen me cry.
Yeah,
Like,
there's other aspects where it stays in too much. And
yeah.
so
No,
yeah.
I feel like I'm like maybe a little too emotionally raw. Like I wear it. I wear it. Or,
Yeah.
or I have exposed nerves. Maybe,
Yeah.
But
Well, interestingly enough, we'll probably get into it a little bit, but I can tell from a little bit from your dosha. It's not really so much that you're wearing it on your sleeve, but it is part of your dosha.
yeah.
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 So it's it's
Yeah.
just it's expected.
Yeah.
It's not off.
It is
like,
me.
it's
I don't mind it.
Yeah.
It upsets me when it upsets other people.
Because their doshas can't take that.
Yeah.
They're
I'm putting out the fire with
yeah,
my
yeah.
water.
Their dosha's a little, so
Yeah.
they're like, no, we don't like that because it puts out our fire. So
Yeah.
I could see that though. It makes sense. I in Ayurveda actually, if you go into the scriptures, I like the Vedic scriptures.
I just have a question.
Yeah, go right
I
ahead.
just took Yin yoga teacher
Yes.
training, and I know it has a lot. It's closer in lineage with Aryuveda. Like, well, I wouldn't
Sister
say
yoga.
closer. It's like half hatha, half
Yeah.
Chinese medicine, which is really cool.
Yes.
Like I learned with hatha like the chakra system.
Yes.
And then with yin, I'm learning how to like target the meridians. Which
Yes.
is awesome.
That's phenomenal. That's an area I'd like to get into at some point.
Yeah.
Traditional Chinese medicine.
Yeah.
I'd love to do that
Yeah.
because it's so close.
It
It has
is.
the same basis and concept.
Yeah.
It just works a little differently.
Yeah.
But I would love to.
Yeah, me
because
too.
and also it opens up. It gives you way more variety of herbs to use.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
have like double the herbs.
Yeah.
Because some
And
things
the
aren't
verbiage.
available too.
Yeah.
Yeah, some aren't available in India. Some things are
because of food.
food, but they're also you can't sustainably grow some of these herbs anymore there, and some take years to. I'm
Yeah.
talking like hundreds of years. Like if you look at
So you have to
sandalwood,
find like the alternative of
you
the
have
area.
to be able to find other ways. So becoming familiar with herbs that are local or that you can have more access to is really important.
Okay.
So,
Okay. I should have brought my notes.
yeah.
Oh, I have. Oh, no.
You're recording. So in the Vedic scriptures, you have the koshas. Have you heard of the koshas?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. The bodies.
Yes, the
Yeah.
different bodies. So I like to use the koshas to understand who we are, because there's I kind of like to divide it into 3 levels because it's easier for me to understand, easier for other people. But all the 5 koshas fit in those 3
Yeah,
for me.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I get what you're saying.
right. So when I say 3, I think of.
But real quick, can you just explain for Esty what the koshas
Oh, I'm gonna
are?
go through them. I'm
Okay.
gonna go through each of them.
Okay.
So we're gonna do the 5 bodies. So when we start with our physical body, that's the one that we can all see, we can touch. It's exposed to outside, and it connects with the senses.
Yeah.
So that's how it's connected. That is our physical body.
That's
I call
our
that the
gateway.
yes. I call that the corporeal body. That's how we've used it. The corporeal,
Yeah,
like the
kind of
physical.
like the signs.
The physical body.
Yeah.
I have the picture of the koshas here too. Put it up.
You want me to hold it up?
Yeah, I'll bring it up. The picture. It's like this. Oh, I'll put the picture in a minute. So the physical body, right? Like that.
Oh, beautiful!
See?
Did you make that?
It's like no, I found it online. It's the
Oh.
best. It's like the Russian
the
dolls.
Russian dolls.
So the physical body, that's right there. That's Anamaya kosha. So that's this part right here that we can all see. And then the pranayama kosha. So then for me, I do the physical body, I say that's the Anamaya kosha. Then I have the subtle body, which is almost like our angelic version, our spiritual body, that energy field. The things that we see of someone sometimes, but they're not physically there, but you feel like you've seen them.
Yeah.
It's like you've seen their subtle
Spirit,
form,
yeah.
like their like almost angelic.
Yeah.
And so that would be their pranamaya kosha. So that's the energy body. And then of course prana, right? So that part
Yeah.
right there. So then the other aspect is the mind and the wisdom body. So those are Manomaya Kosha and Vijnanamaya Kosha.
So interesting.
Yeah.
So mind and emotions are in the same kosha?
They're separate koshas in here, right?
Oh.
Because they're different. Because you have the wisdom kosha, and then I'm sorry, you meant mind. Yes, yes.
That's
So
interesting.
yeah, and then this is the bliss body. So, but
Yeah.
I do it in three. So the bliss body is one for me. That's really the soul. It's
Yeah, yeah.
beyond the physical, beyond
Yeah.
any emotion or anything like that.
Earthly
Just
attachments.
light.
Yeah.
It's just I see a point of light, like
Yeah.
right there in the center of the forehead.
Yeah.
That's the soul.
Yeah.
Then the subtle and the energetic portion of us, that would be all of the three for me. So the wisdom body, the mind and emotions, and then the energy body, all
Yeah.
in one.
Yeah.
And then I do the physical body. That's
Yeah.
the mana kosha. So a lot of times there's these, I call them the three levels. We need all three in a sense, but if we connect to only one at a time sometimes, then we I feel we get lost.
Yeah.
If we're completely in the physical, then we only think of things that are related to this physical body.
Right.
So we come into things like attachment and lust and greed and things of that nature because it comes with this physical body. It is in the world that we're surrounded by. And our relationships with people are based on those physical things, where they're from, what their age is, who they are.
Oh,
It's
okay.
all in this physical portion. Then there's the subtle aspects of us, which is our emotional state, our energetic body. That we connect on that level. It's not always visible to other people,
Right.
but sometimes we do sense it in our connections with people. Somebody walks in, you're like, oh, I feel
I
it.
feel you.
Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And physically, they're not emoting it.
They're not
maybe
showing it.
it's not showing.
Yeah.
But
I
there's
do that a lot.
another whole aspect
Yeah.
that's going on with them emotion. That's our energetic, and this is where we can really feel and we can connect. And we're also not limited to the physical world here, so that
Yeah.
allows us to travel. Or we travel emotionally.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
travel
me and
to
my
the
dog
past.
do.
You travel to the past. You travel to the future. You travel the people you care about.
Yeah.
Maybe not always consciously,
Right.
but it's like almost
Just a smell.
yeah. You're just like there.
Yeah.
You can go anywhere. I had someone. This hadn't happened to me before, but there was somebody that I knew. We were friends, kind of in our 20s ages.
Yeah.
We were both connected to a meditation center, and then I hadn't really been in touch with her. And she sent me a message one day that she had a dream, and I was in her dream, and I had a dream of her that night too. So I was like, I had a dream of you,
To me and my Pisces
right?
friends all
And
the
it's
time.
like it was the same
and Esther
dream
been
too,
Yeah.
right? Because it's like I was in it. So what was happening is something was happening in her dream emotionally, um, and it's like my subtle body just went
Yeah.
and dropped
I'm
itself
here.
there, like what you need,
Yeah.
And we're not like talking friends, like we weren't
Yeah.
speaking with each other on a regular basis, but we travel in that way, so our spiritual body's able to do that. And then beyond that is that part of the soul, like our
So would you
completely beyond
say
all that.
like our relationship with people is strictly based on physical?
No, we don't have to have it that way, but that's what we tend to, because that's what we see in front of us, and it's based on our relationship, mother, father, sister, brother, neighbor.
Yeah, I feel like I'm a little bit of a rebel when it comes to
Of
that.
course, that's why I think pretty
'Cause
much
I try to
anybody
find
that's
my,
here,
like,
yes,
I try to
anybody
find my
here,
vibe.
everybody's looking for
Yeah.
more of that connection, and
Yeah.
is not going for that straight physical, obviously. But it helps to see the differences and to see that.
Yeah.
Because then we can choose at what point do I want to work on this level or this level or that level. Because at the soul level, that's completely separate from all of that's really physical,
Earth.
even exactly.
Yeah.
And that space is where we can really feel
Let go of
complete
ego.
peace. Yeah, complete
part of it.
silence. Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's beyond sound. It's it's beyond movement. Even it's just the soul.
It's
It's
the
just is. So
peace.
it's really that. So it's important that we have all three, but from what angle? So what I'm always saying is if you're coming from the soul angle down,
Which is what I did.
that's it. Because if you're coming from that, then you're bringing that silence and peace and that understanding into
Into
the
my
other
root.
bodies. Exactly.
Which is
Yeah. And
whoa.
and then yeah.
It makes me feel like I intuited that at a young
Yes.
age.
Yep.
Like
Exactly. Because
I
then
knew because I was a very spiritual child, and no one in my family
yeah, they're
was
like
spiritual on that
yeah.
level. Like, you know,
They're like,
if I told them I love the Buddha, I would
yeah,
get
they
struck
would be
by
like,
lightning.
what is what's wrong with you?
Yeah,
Exactly.
but so I was always like that. But home life, root chakra,
Yes.
safety,
And it pulls you. Yeah.
that
Mhm.
messed me up as a
Yeah.
child.
Yeah.
So
And we need to be here. We need to be present
Yeah.
in our, to be aware of our surroundings. Um, but if we come from that understanding that we really truly are
safe
just
and part
souls,
of the Tao.
and and that this is just a costume, that we have so that we can move around,
Yeah.
that we can. It's basically our space suit.
Yeah.
It's the same if you went into space.
Yeah.
We needed to breathe. We needed to, have oxygen.
Yeah, there you
we
go.
needed to make.
I like that.
Yeah,
analogy.
it's necessary so that we can, live here. So it's absolutely needed. It absolutely needs our attention, right? Because if we don't take care of it, what happens? So I know, because I've dealt with the autoimmune disease for so long.
Oh, okay.
So that's what made me study Ayurveda.
Oh.
So we need those bodies, and we need to have that connection. But when we connect solely with our physical being as the only thing that we are, and so everything around us we connect in that way, that's when we lose sight
Yeah.
of who we are.
Yeah.
So, and then if we can also understand in our relationships and our connections with others that there's so much going on in the subtle body and their energy body, and that when we give space for that in our interactions, then we're more understanding.
Yeah.
Right? Because
Yeah.
it's just in the
Absolutely.
physical, we're like,
Yeah.
okay, whatever, you are this.
Get out of my
But if
face.
we're coming, and then,
But
but
if we're-
still,
yeah.
the soul allows us to still even get away from that. Because sometimes we get so caught up in the energetic and the emotional with people and their stories.
That's me.
and then we don't
I
get
just
to
ride
separate it.
everybody's wave.
Exactly. So the ability
like-
to step away from that, even to know that ultimately, even as a soul, still even that energetic part, not that it doesn't matter, but yeah, my friend will always say it does matter when it's in matter, that it matters.
I love that.
That's what it matters.
Yeah.
It's physically here. So not that the energetic doesn't matter, but it's not in matter. So
But it
so
affects.
but it affects matter.
Yeah.
So we can say, even in the spiritual part, outside of all of us, we're still just points of light.
Yeah.
So even everything that we're creating, even in the emotional and the physical, doesn't really translate to that.
Right.
Because once you're there, there's nothing else. We don't sit in the soul level with this information.
Right.
So when we allow ourselves to transcend it and to find space to be just that, I feel that when we come back, we're more refreshed, we're more less
I find
attached
it
to that.
beautiful that you mentioned that some people work from like down up
Yes.
and up down.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, because
Yeah.
I don't know, like
Yeah,
it just
because
it
then you're
totally makes sense.
seeking it from.
And like now in my practices or in other people in my private in my teachings, I can see where they're at.
Yes.
I can see where which chakra they're like,
Yes.
and then I can work it up or I can work it down.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And
That's so true.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So when I look, and so now the aspect of Ayurveda, because Ayurveda does work in the physical sense because it's in matter,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But matter has also the
Energy.
aspects exactly. So
Yeah, when we go
each
to
of
eat
them
that
have
plant,
that exactly.
that plant took on energy
Mhm.
from its environment.
Yep. So the everything around in nature that's physically affecting us has also the doshic effect, if we want to call it, and that doshic effect has an emotional, spiritual effect, and it goes into the mind,
Yeah.
and so that's how it's all connected. That's why I love talking about the koshas, because it's not just, oh, I ate this and now
Yeah.
it's this. It
And it might help me
completely,
understand it a little better.
yeah, it completely goes into that. So you know that the five elements
Uh-huh.
that are out there. So
Uh-huh.
that's the basis of Ayurveda. And then when you take the combination of those elements, it creates doshas, right? So you have air and
Mhm.
ether. The combination of air and ether is vata.
Vata.
Huh? You bakret? Okay,
Vata, air, and
Vata,
ether.
air and ether.
Can I show them that too?
Huh? Yes, please. This for the koshas. You can bring the phone up here.
5 bodies or koshas.
Yes. No, it's good.
She wanted to be here, but she's
I know. I'm still going to work with her.
oh good.
I'm
Oh,
gonna do
yeah.
a picture for you.
She told me that.
Yeah, I had this picture. So that was my image for the physical, the the subtle, and then the incorporeal portion of that. Yeah, like that. Oh, this way. Hopefully keeps me on
I like the
my track
easy
too.
way, yogi way, because
Ye-
you're like you're simplifying it in a way that like people can actually understand.
That's my thing. Like it's gotta be,
Yeah.
it's gotta be that way. So I have a picture of them. All right. So these are the combinations, right?
Yeah.
You can bring them.
Yeah.
Here.
I'm just gonna hold it.
Yeah. So Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. So yeah, air. She's like, I'm Pitta. Air and ether. That is lucht en spatie. That is Vata, right? The combination. And then Pitta is then fire and water.
Uh-huh.
And then Kapha is water and earth. So that's the combination that makes the doshas. Now, people are, when you're born, whatever is happening at the time, wherever the planets were at the time,
Yeah.
whatever your parents' situation was at the time, exactly. But all of it contributed. What they were going through, what their life was like,
Yeah.
all of that goes into a pot, what their constitution is, and then at that moment, when you are conceived, when you're born, that is your constitution.
Okay.
So that is your dosha, and they call that your prakriti dosha. That's your prakriti. Yeah, so that's your natural original state. And then life happens. You can put that here. Yeah. I'm gonna lean it against it. Hey. Here you are. Oh, almost there. Hey, Esty. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So, life happens, right? Depending on where you end up going to school, what your family surroundings are, the food that you eat, the temperature, the climate you grew up in.
Yeah.
All of that is completely different doshas affect all the time.
Yeah.
So your dosha is constantly really changing. But whenever I do an Ayurvedic consultation and I find out what your dosha is at that moment, we call that Vikriti. Vikriti doshas really means incorrect, actually means faulty.
Yeah.
Dosha actually means faulty. So
Okay.
it's not correct. It won't be.
Right.
Anything after your birth is not going to be exact, right? Because it's constantly changing. it could be this
Yeah, because
at
this
this
threw me
exact
off and now I'm
moment.
fire.
Yeah, at this moment, and I walk over there, my dosha is different. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's always kind of changing.
Uh-huh.
But what happens is the basis of Ayurveda is that our destined dosha, that's our
We're trying to get back
exactly, because that dosha that we had was perfect for us. That is where our optimal balance is, our optimal health will be in that dosha. And it's so different for everybody
Yeah.
because that, this ideal that the world tells us we have
Mhm.
to be is not
No.
good for everyone.
I know.
It's for that person, it's good.
Mhm.
Everyone's unique in the way that they're formed and their dosha. So when we do a doshic evaluation, we're looking at a person's dosha from birth based on, um, I will look at either pictures and questions that I will ask about things you can remember of your past and put that into combination. That will give me your birth dosha.
Okay.
And then your current, I could do by just doing your tongue, your eye evaluation, checking your pulse.
Really?
And yeah, and then I'll say, okay, this is where you are now. So Ayurveda's basis is that disease comes when we are far away from our original dosha. So when it's way off, that's when we're just imbalanced. Things
Yeah.
just don't see. Things are just
It's
kind of
not
all
right.
over the place,
Yeah.
and it's just not right because it's not right for us.
Right.
Someone else's right
It's
also not right for
yeah.
us. It just doesn't work that way. So, so that's how those doshas are. So in general, the three doshas, the vata, pitta, and kapha, you can have someone that's predominantly vata, all the way straight vata. Someone's predominantly pitta, or predominantly kapha. But the majority of are combinations.
Yeah.
Most people will be vata pitta,
Yeah.
pitta kapha,
Yeah.
kapha. The the ones that's less are gonna be vata kapha.
Yeah.
You won't find that too often, although I know a few people because they're really kind of opposite. Vata and kapha
Yeah,
are
very
very opposite
airy
of each other,
or
and then really down to earth.
grounded.
So
Yeah.
they will find a hard time maintaining balance themselves because they're so
'Cause they're
opposite.
so-
They're doing one thing that is good for one dosha and is opposite for the other.
Yeah.
So
They
those
have
they're-
to find
it's
a way to.
yeah, it's not very
Huh.
common and it's really hard to balance. And
That's
the
what's
other
cool about
one that's
Hatha.
not that common is tridoshic. Tridoshic means the person is all three.
The last time
Vata,
I
pitta,
took
kapha.
the last time I took any sort of evaluation, which was
Mm-hmm.
there was a quiz.
Yeah,
But that's what it said.
that it felt like that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the reason that one is also not as common, and you'll find out it's really hard for people with tridoshic to fit in the world. So they'll probably be told or feel a little bit bipolar or anything like that because how can you be? You're all three. So in general, we're all five doshas, anyways. Well, I mean, we're all five elements.
Yeah.
But it's going to matter about the quantity
That we're gonna
of
need
each.
more of some. Than
Exactly,
others.
exactly. So the doshas then themselves, then you look at, and the way that you can understand the doshas better is not so much of what each of the elements are, but what the
Their
qualities
properties.
of each. Exactly. When you know their properties, it makes more sense altogether.
Yeah.
All right. So if you look at air, it's light and it
Fluffy,
moves, and like
and
it's
free,
movable.
so,
Exactly.
like,
Exactly.
what kind of food would that be? That would
Exactly.
Be
Think of that.
like, herbs. It would be like.
Yeah, like herbs,
Yeah.
salads,
Yeah.
cold foods, right? Because it's also cold.
Cold foods.
Mm-hmm. Air,
Okay.
ether, things that create space.
Yeah. See.
So when you think
and
of
I
that.
know, like, I'll know when I need cold foods.
Yeah.
And then I'll know when I need hot food.
Yes, because the ideal in Ayurveda or the methodology is opposites create balance.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So if your Vata person
is running cold.
You're gonna be in the cold, airy, like this. You need grounding.
Yeah.
So you need something like a oatmeal, like a warm oatmeal,
soup,
some
potato,
soup, rice,
potato,
things that are like down
Potatoes
here.
my comfort,
Earthy.
go-to.
Yeah. Earthy food.
Straight
so
out the ground. Yeah.
vegetables out
Root
of the ground.
vegetables.
Root vegetables.
Yeah, that is my
very
go-to
much.
when
Yeah.
I'm feeling.
Very good for you.
Yeah, when I'm feeling
mhm.
like overwhelmed, that's
Exactly.
my comfort
That's
food.
what you have to do because so once you know the qualities, then you're able to navigate your dosha all around all the time
Right.
because you're like I'm feeling this way right now.
So
So
let me
you
go eat a
know
watermelon.
exactly. You know
So
at
like,
this moment.
if you're feeling fiery,
Exactly. So you would
you
do
can go eat a
cooling
watermelon.
things, watermelon,
Cucumber.
and that's a
Cucumber.
cucumber. You can use coconut oil on your body.
Oh, that'll
Coconut oil is cooling, so you
Okay.
can
Yeah, I do that.
do a
I'll
massage on your body.
I'll
Coconut
lotion
oil,
myself
exactly,
when I'm feeling
exactly,
hot
and
because
not
like
only in food.
my Scorpio does make me feel fiery. I don't know if it's my Scorpio that makes
Yeah.
me feel fiery.
Could
but
be, could be.
Yeah.
And the thing too is, food is always a major go-to, for the doshas.
I love her.
but it's also in the things that we do. So physically in nature is going to be good for vata. Actually, it's good for all doshas being in nature, anyways.
Right.
But a vata person will do well to be on the ground, around green, around earth.
On the ground. I love
Walking
being
barefoot.
Low. Like, people be like, I love when like when they get those couches set up
Yes,
all in the circle.
exactly.
Like, I'm the person that wants to be right on
Yes.
the floor.
Yeah, because that's going to be good. And
do you
then
think
different
that's me
type of
trying
exercise.
to like calm down my airiness?
Yes, yeah.
So
definitely.
do you think I am try?
I definitely see a lot of vata in you. I wouldn't know of all the three doshas until
Vata,
I go through. Vata's air and ether.
Oh.
And I can see the pitta for sure. Yeah. Yes, I can see the pitta for sure. So we would have to see the kapha, like how much and in what components of your being kapha shows up. I might be able to see. Yeah, martial arts is good. And a lot of times kapha is more.
But I do
in
find
the
myself
mind.
having to
In the
ground a lot.
Yeah.
And having to tell myself to ground.
Yeah. And that's vata because vata is gonna be it's the vata is what you're trying to ground. So
and like pitta's not so worried about
pitta is fine.
Going with the
but
pitta
what if you're vata pitta? What happens is
the hurricane
if it's too much. Exactly. If there's
Oh my
vata is
gosh.
going too much, it
Wow.
will stoke pitta. So it will either air can make fire do one of two things. It either blows out the fire
or it expands.
it. So if it blows it out, you're going to be like, you're not wanting to do anything. You're going to be more no passion, right?
Oh,
Exactly.
my God.
Whereas if it's stoking it, you're going to be like on fire. You're like, everybody's coming at you like, listen, you're going to be like, stop, don't get with me. I'm here right now. So that's going to be when the pitta comes. Hello. Hi.
This afternoon.
Oh, there.
Your hair looks so pretty.
She lives here.
That's Nikki's mom.
Oh, so
Yeah, because he'll
He
pee
got
on
lost.
everybody's stuff. He's gonna try and come and pee.
He's trying to feed her.
She lives here?
Huh?
She lives here.
Yeah, she's Jeff and Nikki's mom. Or Nikki's mom.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's a lovely man.
Yeah, I think he's looking for a place. Peeing. She's like, let's go. So yeah, so it's also in our activities, like even our physical exercises. So you do yoga. It's going to be even down to that's another area that I want to get into a little more, because different yoga will be more suitable for different things. Like yin yoga is really good for vata. It's really soothing, a little more calming and down to earth.
It's really hard
more
for
grounding.
Me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Okay.
So because it's kind of opposite.
I can't believe I went into the teacher training.
Yeah, I think that's
yin.
a good one for you. But even down to where you gaze during your poses. is going to make a difference. Like if you're doing, say you're doing warrior, right? If you're a pitta person, they will gaze straight forward. If you are a vata person,
Which warrior?
um, any of them. Like if
Okay.
you're doing warrior, what is it? Warrior,
Two.
yes, this way.
Yeah.
But your gaze, if your gaze is forward for pitta, is good. If it's vata, if you're really experiencing vata, I would say gaze down. So even if you're doing it, yeah,
Down,
gaze down. Exactly, because the ground is there and it will
Okay.
ground you. And if you're kapha, you gaze up. So it makes a difference during each of your poses to incorporate the
I
doshas.
change throughout the postures.
Exactly.
When I'm balancing, I like to challenge myself by looking up.
Exactly.
But yeah, I guess it really does.
But it will make your pose more grounding by gazing downward, right?
When I know I need to ground.
Exactly. Exactly. So for if you're doing a certain pose, I would say if you're kapha, I would say push the limit a little bit. For a kapha person, go a little longer in the pose than you think you can.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
For a pitta
It's so
person, you would say no need to. No need to go long. You're good.
Yeah?
You're good. We know you got it.
Yeah.
For
So
a
that would be
pitta
like
person,
Joe.
so yeah, so it allows, even within our exercise, the type of exercise. I mean, even within yoga, we can do it, but also the type of exercise, like cool swimming would be more cooling, would be good for a pitta person.
Okay.
Even though they love Bikram yoga, hot yoga, probably not so good for that. But then it all comes back down to Ayurveda. The one thing that I like,
hot yoga. I don't.
And I know it's so good for me. It would be like perfect for me.
I do it.
Yeah, it's like a really good thing for me to do. But I like I'll go to the hot tub and stuff. I need to sweat, right? So that's for me. I need to get heat out of my body. So but even then,
I got a little bit of like a claustrophobia.
Yeah.
Like I don't like to
like
be
sit in a box
room
and
full
yeah.
of sweaty people breathing
exactly.
their sweat.
But one thing I would say too is the thing that attracted me to Ayurveda and that I really like the concept of Ayurveda is if it's something you have to implement, to for your health or to be better, but if it causes you stress, then
That's what I tell
it's
people about
not
pranayama.
Ayurveda, right? Because it's not. If it's causing you to be that way, then it's vata increasing and it's not allowing you. Then it's not healthy.
Yeah.
If it's something that you can, begin to introduce and you could do that. Because even the same
that's
thing.
what happened with me. So like vinyasa flow is what got me into yoga. So like power, because I was a martial artist.
Yes. Oh, that's awesome.
And a dancer, and then I went into vinyasa flow because it, and then I accidentally went into like a hatha training, where it's the same postures every time, hold for the same amount of time, and that was very difficult for me when I went into teacher training.
Yeah.
And then when I came out, I found myself craving it.
Yeah.
And then, like,
because that would be really good for vata,
later,
but
a couple years later, here I am doing yin teacher training.
Yin would be so good for you. You'd love that.
Yeah.
That's really good for you. So
I am enjoying it.
And that's
now.
the thing too. It's like eliminating something, if it causes you stress too, that's also not good. So like if somebody's pitta, like exactly. So if pitta person loves Bikram yoga, right? Hot yoga, even though in general it's overheating for them, but they enjoy it. That means it brings them joy.
Yeah,
that means it's a good thing.
is
so that means let them do it, but find a way to balance it another way.
That's what I do with my clients, like because I do assisted stretch.
Yes.
And so with my clients, I'll find what it is they are doing in their life that's causing imbalance physically.
Yeah. And
because it's a medical a more of a, you know what I'm saying, more of a medical type environment. So it's not real spiritual is what I'm trying to say. And so like I do end up with the clients that want that spiritual knowledge about, like, because I can feel people's trauma in their bodies. Like, I can tell when you're reacting because it's a trauma response,
Right.
Versus
like just a pain, like a physical,
like
discomfort.
You don't like that stretch out, you know.
Yeah, that's a great
teaching
gift to have.
Because I'm a trauma informed yoga.
Yeah.
Like trauma yoga is like really what I specialize in. But yeah, so like I'm very sensitive to it because that's like how I'm healing me.
Yeah.
You know, so it's
that's
cool.
Awesome. Yeah, so I think knowing these properties and seeing them around us, you'll be able to integrate it daily, into your thing.
And so how do
but I'll do
Pitta people like I don't know, like fire and water, like
and it really depends. Each person, they could be more of a water than they are fire too. So a Pitta person, you have to find out, is it a watery Pitta or a fiery Pitta? So it really depends on each person and how much of their kapha. You can feel sometimes, like in their pulse, if it's more of a watery pulse. So you can feel, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna go a little deeper. Okay.
That's okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of vata there, for sure.
I would have never imagined it.
Although when I ask people, kapha, I can feel a little bit of kapha in there too.
Okay.
I can feel that. Yeah, that vata is on fire.
Am I? Woo!
Yeah, it's going like your heart rate is like.
Is it? Oh, it's always been that way too.
Yeah, because vata.
When I was a kid, they said I had a runner's heart rate.
Yeah, but that's vata. Vata heart rate will be
have, like,
the higher. Yeah, it will be the higher,
rabbit speed.
higher rate.
Yeah.
Metabolism is quick. It's part of it.
I gain weight really easily.
Yeah, you can. But it's kind of not common for a vata, but that could be the kapha part of you.
Okay.
And kapha is really hard to even feel in the pulse.
Earthy people, I think of them as the Hufflepuffs.
Yes.
Yes. Like they're my favorite people to be around. They're just snacky and comfortable, and they want to be comfortable.
People will always be drawn to kapha.
And I never make I'm never like the comfort. Like I never make my, I love my Hufflepuff people because like.
Yeah, they just they connect like that. Yeah, because it's grounding for a vata person, so they always feel very comfortable around kapha people.
Cool.
Yeah, because kaphas will always have that sense of feeling for people. Yeah. I'm kapha, but I'm actually pitta kapha.
Okay.
So, but right now I'm more kapha than pitta. So I'm kapha pitta.
Yeah.
But when I do my whole chart, I'm really a pitta kapha person.
Okay.
My mom is pitta kapha, more pitta.
Okay.
She's a little more on the pitta. But she's also in our vata stage of life. So that's what I wanted to tell you too. So that will be my last bit. Vata, the stages of life also are when you're a baby, like growing up, you're in your kapha stage of life. Like as a kid, that's why they're like, ooh, watery. Love it.
Yeah,
and
sponges.
Then, and then when they, like from teenage years, like after puberty, until, and they're like, that whole time where they're career driven and really passionate, that is pitta time of life. And vata is after menopause.
Okay.
For will be the vata stage of life. So even though, for example, Pitta Kapha is her dosha, that's her innate dosha, she's going to be really influenced by Vata now because she's in her Vata stage of life. So it's going to be more air and ether. They have more digestive issues, constipation, because their skin will be more dry, it's thinner. So those are Vata influences. So at that age, we're looking a lot at Vata, even though they're not a Vata dosha person, but they're more going to be more influenced. So I'm actually, I said Pitta Kapha, but I'm Pitta Kapha with Vata. So I'm still not Tridoshic. I have a lot of Vata in my original dosha too, enough to consider it, right? So it's like, because everybody has everything, but some is just a little bit. But I have enough that it needs to be noted with the Pitta Kapha. It's not a little bit. It's like almost half of my Pitta is Vata, like that. So it's enough that it influences me a lot. So if I don't watch it, my Vata really can take over, and for me, it comes in a form of anxiety, like my nervous system starts getting really worked up, and when my nervous system gets worked up, my Pitta is like, what?
Yeah, that was me this morning.
So exactly. Yeah. And so, Rachel, I will do just like I will do for ST. When this event is over, then we'll meet up and I'll do your doshic evaluation for you. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll do the whole thing. Yeah. So then we can get down to it, and you'll know exactly in which area. And then it's good to have.
Look at, like, food, because like food has always been a struggle for me. Like I grew up in a household where I had to cook for myself, but like it was frozen. I hated meat from the moment I was born. But like redneck family,
well, Vata would love fresh foods. They would be more inclined to eat them.
I wanted them, but they were never around, I guess. And I remember being a little kid and being like, is this healthy for me? Is this healthy? And I'm like the only person in my family that even used the word healthy. And that's it. It's
culture, when you're a kid, you don't have much say.
Yeah.
You're just, that's what's given.
So what ended up happening is I would eat the meat that didn't resemble meat anymore. Yeah,
exactly.
And so I was like,
chicken
I was
nuggets,
like 200 pounds, like 200 pounds in school. Like, and that's way heavier than I am. Like, and it's not my
martial arts was probably really good for you. That was your thing.
So I went vegetarian first and got kicked out of my house when I was 17, and like went veggie and went to work and lost weight. Yeah, because I was allowed to eat what I wanted.
Yeah, you can eat what you want.
And like it became and so and then after like I had lost a little bit of weight and I felt comfortable in my body because like body dysmorphia, the whole thing. As soon as like I became comfortable enough to be in front of people, and I was like really inspired by Avatar: The Last Airbender, to be honest.
Yes.
Like, I was like in this nasty environment I felt as a child, and I felt myself getting angry, and I just watched this little monk kid, like who had the world on his shoulders, airbender, and like it made me start reading self-help books, Buddhism books. Like that's what got me on that path. And I don't know, it's just kind of cool how like I was born knowing what I needed and what I wasn't getting.
You naturally are seeing. You are already seeing what you needed. Now you just have words for it. You knew.
It's like I intuitively went in the right direction.
I think, and that's the main thing, because knowledge is really, it is about feeling it and knowing it. And we found these
things out because of practicing in our bodies.
Exactly. You know it, and then you're like, oh, that's why I do this. Oh, now I understand. It makes sense. But you know it very much. So. And then I'll do that, and that way you'll have it. I'll have a food guide too for you.
That'd be great.
So you can, that way you can see that it has the doshic effects of foods. Certain foods, so you'll know. Okay, this one will increase.
I eat a lot of hot food. Like,
Do you?
I'm dissatisfied.
Yeah.
I'm dissatisfied when my food's not spicy.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a that is a pizza thing.
Okay.
Pizza loves spice.
Yeah.
And it could be somewhat good for vata, but a lot of spice would definitely increase your vata, like give you a little more anxiety and things of that nature. It would
Okay.
increase your vata a little bit, but spice is always good. It's like it wakes up the senses,
Yeah.
so it's good in some form. You
Yeah.
just have to balance your food out with other things. So if you have something nice and spicy, just make sure you have something
Some
cooling.
cucumber.
Cool, yeah. Just drink like a cucumber juice, or
Coconut water.
something to exactly that in
Love
each
a coconut
moment
water.
you can balance those things.
Cool.
Yeah,
It's really interesting.
I'm glad I got to share that with you.
Me too. Me too.
So I'm gonna hang around. I'm gonna check out. Oh yeah. Oh
The under
I
of
had to
row.
give you the thing. Okay.
The under of row
Love you,
there.
Esty. I'm gonna do your
Yeah.
consultation for you soon.